Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful episode of Lupus Has No Face, where we talk about real struggles and real life and lupus and beyond. I am your host, Savannah Burks, with our lovely guest, Dr. Knox, is in the building.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will be discussing mental health and chronic illnesses, you guys. This applies to everyone across the board, whether you have a chronic illness, depression, or you're just really going through life. This will help you. We will definitely leave you with some tools that you will be able to utilize, right? So thank you so much for coming to the Lupus Has No Face podcast out of your busy schedule. It's such a pleasure to have someone as important as you, and you're very prominent in the community. We all appreciate her. You okay? So before we dive right into anything that's going on, how was your ride here?
It was really good. I had the window cracked because it's like 40 degrees, and for Wisconsin, that's like summer.
Yes.
And I was excited to come because, as I told you earlier, this is my first podcast in Milwaukee. So I'm super, super excited.
Yes, that calls for a different toast. That calls for a different toast, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you so much for like I said, coming in out your busy schedule, all of the research that I've done on you.
What you done on me?
We done it. Yes, I do research on all my guests that comes here. So for the people that do not know who you are and what you do, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Knox, and I am a mental wellness expert, licensed professional counselor here in Milwaukee. However, I travel and work in Wisconsin, throughout Wisconsin, as well as throughout the United States and abroad. I have been in the wonderful journey of mental wellness for about 30 years now. Don't try to guess my age. I was a child prodigy. Started when I was 2.
You look beautiful. Okay.
Thank
Beautiful.
Thank you. I work mainly with Black and Brown communities. I have a consulting firm called Knox Behavioral Health Solutions, where I go into companies, organizations, profitable, nonprofit, medical, all the above, and I work with their staff. Most times we have a product or we have a client base, and then we have the executives. But the people that are kind of forgotten about are the staff. So I go into companies to curate spaces of mental wellness. Also, I have co-founder. I'm a co-founder of Black Space HQ. So there are 4 of us that are co-founders, and we have put together a really, really wonderful therapeutic experiences for Black and Brown men, Black and Brown women, and Black and Brown LGBTQIA plus communities.
Oh, come on now.
And it has to be in beautiful and safe spaces. So we partner with other Black and Brown businesses, and we have groups there. Our main hub is the Milwaukee Art Museum because art is our base. Also a media consultant. So many times on television, radio, so on and so forth, I will be the mental wellness expert. Been on WNOB, and now I have a segment every other week on 98.3 called Mindful Mondays. So
make sure you guys check her out. Okay?
Jamie 98.
Period.
Yeah, so 98.3. And I love what I do, and I love the community. So in my free time, I'm in these streets and I'm with people and I'm loving up folks and they loving me up. So I'm an energy thief.
Oh my God, your voice is so soothing. Like I can really go to sleep just by listening to you talk.
Thank
Like
you.
you fit right in the field. Y'all feel that way? Her voice is so soothing. Oh my God.
Thank
So tell
you.
them where they can find you at.
So you can find me at any social medias that I have from Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn is Dr. Lia Knox, Dr. Liaknox. Also, you'll find me at times when I'm writing articles or maybe being promoted or in media. They'll have email addresses to reach me there too, and sometimes they change. So I'll get those to y'all.
That is so dope. We definitely going to share those resources at all of our pop-ups or when we're vending or anything that I am doing because we do not talk about this enough. People just do not understand how important mental health is. I feel like they write it off
They do.
because you don't look like you need help.
Mm-hmm.
Society wants you to look unkept so we can think or know that something is wrong with you.
Yes, and that is not helpful at all. It's a huge stigma. People think the stigma is just with um, African American communities, which in fact it is, but our society as a whole in America, even though we would like to talk about it, all the things, it's still a big stigma, and people don't get the help they need, nor do they even, know about their symptoms. They're not aware of them.
No, and it's sad, and and it starts to with our help, right? Our doctors and therapists
Yes,
and mental health and stuff that are supposed to help us, and they go to school for this thing, but at the same time, they taught a way that they should not be taught because the moment that you walk into the clinic, they are visualizing,
hmm
writing everything down: how you dress, how you smell, how you look, and it's sad to say, if you're well groomed, you're not going to be
nothing's
qualified for a
wrong.
lot of things, or it's going to be mentally in your head, and you're going to get rolled off. You're not going to get the
Yes.
help that you're seeking out to get. And that's crazy.
It is crazy. And a lot of times there's some cultural biases. So, one of my specialties is cultural humility. When I go and speak to the masses, I make sure that they know that I'm coming from a culturally intentional lens. So, when you think about medical appointments, African American Latino women, they say, oh, well, they just exaggerate their pain. When in
Mm.
fact, they're expressive of their pain. They say black men don't want to go to the doctor, when in fact, they do go to the doctor. And a lot of times it's about affordability, accessibility, and awareness. Even what we're talking about today with chronic illnesses that you can't see, they call it the invisible illness. And that's
Yes.
really hard because it's not invisible. All you have to do is take a second look.
Yes. And that comes from being kind and caring and being intuitive as well.
Yes,
So, Dr. Knox, from a clinical standpoint, how do you define mental wellness, especially in patients living with chronic illness?
sure. So I'll give the definition and I'll tell you why first.
Okay.
So, mental wellness is a positive term, it's a state of being. Mental illness is, oh, I have to come and I have to get help because something is wrong. And so, in the medical field, it comes from the deficit of there's a problem, something's wrong, we need to fix it. With mental wellness, is I am able to function effectively at work, at play, at home, at school, in my community, while effectively managing my thoughts, my behaviors, and my emotions. So, with that, it's not, oh, something is wrong. It's okay. I have the best that I can right now. I got these tools, even if it's not many, but I'm doing the best I can. How do I remain mentally well, or how do I increase it? So it comes from a hopeful and a positive point of view, not from a deficit, because we all have strengths that we're using to thrive and survive every day.
It's just so dope to hear you just validate that. It's been validated already. I went to go see someone because I'm like, I'm off. Or my mother passed, grieving, right? But I
Mm,
was still doing all of the things that you were saying. So I did need help. We all have a spectrum, highs and lows. So I didn't need to be medicated. I didn't need to get on anything or talk to anybody because I was still dealing with it the proper way. And people don't understand, sometimes they are dealing with it with the proper way. That's like you're healing and you're grieving and you're moving through life, but you're
mhm.
being expressive and you're talking about it. So the mental wellness is taking out that time and that space for yourself to continue to understand when you have those moments.
Absolutely. Like we talked about before we were on air. Coach Tony over there takes his Sundays all the time. He's so good. And we were talking about when we try to squeeze it in. When in fact those days are really, really necessary and it does help with mental wellness, especially with chronic illness, because with chronic challenges, I recognize my body is not feeling well, but let me just push through. Or man, I'm in so much pain, but maybe I'm tripping. Or you know what, just let me take this BC powder and get it cracking. When in fact, you need to set your tail down somewhere, breathe, and just be. So you even recognize the feelings in your body.
Yes, our body definitely talks to us. It tells us what's
Loud.
going on before we actually need to go see a doctor, before we actually go pass out or do any of those things. And I tell people today, like, if you get sick and die today, your position will be filled by tomorrow.
Mm,
We're making these
absolutely.
people millions and billions of dollars. You got to understand, you have to take care of you for everything around you to be okay. People have this survivor. They are going on the survivor mode throughout a life, and that's how they operating because they feel like they take out time for themselves. Oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Somebody's going to look at me. No, that's going to be right there
Mm-hmm.
when you get back.
Absolutely. And if it's not, it wasn't meant to be. And a lot of it's generational. Like, think about our mothers, our grandmothers, our TTs, our uncles, our grandpas, where they worked to the bone. They would do anything for their family, all the above, and even when they were sick. And so, as we were growing up, it taught us, oh, that's what it means to be successful. So, if I'm sick, get up out this bed anyway. If I'm tired and about to fall asleep, you drive and go get and come back anyway. So a lot of it is generational, things that we've
Yes.
learned during cycles, and some is comparison, social comparison, which is huge.
Oh my God, we need more than just this time. So that's absolutely correct. Just to speak on a little bit of it. Other cultures, like some are doctors, so they feel like they have to continue to be a doctor, but they hate it. They don't like it. They end up being depressed, getting divorced, getting a
Mhm.
trophy wife as like at 50. And we always be like, well, how did you get divorced? And why did you get a divorce at 30, 40 years later? And it's
Mhm.
because they never wanted to do what their parents wanted them to do in life.
Exactly. And many times when the parents pass away, maybe they're 50, what have you, they call it midlife crisis, when in fact is I just want to do what I want to do and I don't want to follow that path anymore. And somehow and sometimes they get released when parents do get older and they may have to start caring for them. Or maybe a parent passes away, similar to, when if I want to live here in Milwaukee, but then something happens to my parent and I'm like, okay. And like a week later, I moved to Atlanta. Did I always want to move there?
Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
did. People be so scared to be uncomfortable, and I believe that you have to be uncomfortable to grow. Being
Yes.
comfortable will keep you stagnant and keeping you wishing could have, should have, would have, and you 20 years later with the same song. People don't like to take what word am I looking for? People don't like to fail.
Accountability. Yes.
And it's
Yes.
okay that you fail because it's teaching you a lesson, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that doesn't mean that it wasn't meant. I probably went about it the wrong way. Let
Mm-hmm.
me go about it this way. And people don't have that mindset. They want to know exactly what's going to happen if they choose to go this right route. Things are going to happen because for me, I feel like God needs to understand that you understand the blessings that it takes to
Yes.
get through. So when you make it there, you can bring other people up with abundance and sustain that.
Absolutely. You would not have a testimony and be able to mentor others or even tell a story if it were not for some of the lessons you learned by something not being in your thoughts unsuccessful, when in fact it was successful, but it was in God's time and it was how He wanted it to be. Like,
Mm,
for instance, have you ever been at a job and you like, oh my God, I'm not gonna leave because I have money here, stability, insurance, all the things. And then finally you like, I don't know if I could take it anymore. You're like, you know what? In the next 6 months, I'm quitting. And then you get fired. And people wonder, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I'm like, no, God was just like, you need to be up out of here now, if not last week. Let me handle that for you. And it's room enough for you to do what your calling
oh
is.
my God. We need a 4 hour show for this because that was only one question and we just piggybacking off of it. And people don't talk about the failures enough. People don't talk about how hard success is. Like me study climbing up the ladder and I'm study knocking off the goals and doing all the things. Being successful is hard.
Ooh.
People do not talk about you have to have a team. You have to release the control so the people can take care of you. I never understood why so many superstars got all these employees working for them. They are needed. The person that is carrying the bag, that is bringing in the bag, needs to be mentally stable. So they need to sleep after this. They need to sleep after that. So my cook is going to give me this. This person is going to be my
Yeah.
prompter. This person is going to do my clothes. So I understand it. It's a
And
need for it.
at this time and at your age and where you are, that is humongous. Because many of us don't get to that understanding until we laid up in the hospital and about to fall out somewhere. And then probably be like, wait a minute, maybe I should get a little help. When in fact you already know that. So you'll bypass a lot of the things that, a lot of people have gone through. And also in this, people don't realize that if you do have a chronic health issue, it is going to inflame your symptoms if you are not taking care of yourself mentally. And that's with getting a bag. That's with being with your kids. It's with just simply going to kick it one day. You
Yes.
have to be able to have those things, but they have to have boundaries.
Oh my God, absolutely. And the people that's on your team has to understand your vision. They don't have to
Mhm.
agree with you because you don't want a team that's a yes person, right? They just have to understand your vision and carry it out.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we moving on to the next question. As a medical professional, what is often overlooked when treating the psychological impact of an autoimmune disease like lupus?
Mm. Symptoms of depression.
Yes.
There are 1 in 4 people with lupus and other chronic disease, but mainly lupus, that are living with depression. And 1 in every 6 people have to either have special treatment for it. It gets really intense and is chronic. So with that, people overlook it like, oh, I know they're in pain, but they're good. They're keeping on going or what have you, or they're just exaggerating. Or you know what? I don't know anybody else in the family who has this. So are you really sure? And so overlooking some of the mental health issues, even anxiety. Um,
Yes.
1 in 3 have anxiety, and it increases when the flares come. It also makes you hyper vigilant. So, like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm make sure to eat right, and I'm gonna make sure to run outside and get the fresh air and do yoga and all the things. When in fact, that's okay, but there's a limit. So, when you're hyper vigilant about, oh, my health and what I have to do, it can also cause mental health challenges as well. And now you're anxious because you're not sure when the next flare up is going to be. You may be anxious or even a bit depressed because of fertility issues or appearance. There are some wonderful people, Trick Daddy, CEO, who are living and thriving with lupus, but they do tell their stories. And the one thing they say is mental health is hardly ever addressed.
Oh my God. Abs- Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is people that know something is wrong with them, they don't even want to accept it because they're gonna feel like they outside of the crayon box.
Yep.
And that is sad. Sad. You should be able to your people that surround you should be able to support you in any and everything that you go through. Like I say, I'm out, like you say, in these streets, quote, right? But
Hmm.
when I'm out, I network. But a lot of things that I'm out at the clubs meeting people, right? But I say if my friends can't go to a symphony with me, but they're going to the clubs, I gotta look at them a certain way. I'm an all around type of girl. You can put me in any room and I'm gonna fit in there.
Hmm.
But people need to understand when they're going through something, that same friend that you hop into the club with should be the same friend that's telling you to go seek help or I'm gonna go with you or
Yes.
give you information on it because a lot of people just think they can brush it off, like you said, but it never goes away. And then
No,
thinking too far in the future cause anxiety as well, too.
you're right about that. And that smile that just keeps there because you go into the clubs, you network, and you all these things, and your friends are having a good time with that. Your family's having a good time, but the ones, and I'm not saying that friends who are unable to support are bad friends, because sometimes we say, well, so and so don't want to do this, so and so don't want to help me with that, when in fact I am a firm believer that every single human being is doing the best they can at the time. I don't
Yes.
care if you're considered the worst mom, if you're considered, a person with the biggest business, you wouldn't just sign up and be like, me, I want to fail and I want to be a jerk and I don't want to be there for my friends. You're doing the best you can at the time. And most times when our friends are not as supportive as we would like, it ain't nothing to do with us.
True. It's everything to do with them.
Yeah. And they could be going through all kinds of stuff and we don't even know it.
And I feel like
So,
that's why communication is very important.
yes, absolutely. But once again, you said there's a stigma where I don't want to let on that something is wrong. So if I'm the friend that Dr. Knox goes to, if I'm the friend that Savannah goes to, then I gotta keep this up, even though I'm having a mental breakdown. My daughter in jail again, my son that ran away, and now somebody's pregnant, and I'm seeing things, but I don't want to tell nobody. But yet
Listen,
somebody mad at me because I didn't speak in the morning.
don't even
Girl,
understand.
bad. Yes.
Ooh, Lord, you dropping out, you giving out homework, okay? What happens neurology and emotionally when someone receives a life alerting diagnosis?
Yeah. So it is a high possibility that it causes a trauma response.
Mm,
And so with the trauma responses, it affects our neurons, it affects our heartbeat, it affects the blood flow. And so there are five trauma responses. So there's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop. So imagine you got the diagnosis, okay, you have lupus. So some people think it's the end of life, others are like, what's that? So when you're like, oh no, I'm just not going to even talk about it. I don't even, nope, I'm going to pray it away. So that is flight. And it could also be, fight. You know what? I'm going to fight this thing for all I got. I'm going to make sure to take my meds. I'm going to go to the specialist. I'm going to go to the herbal person, all the things. And so that's, I'm fighting, but also could be angry. And then the fawn, man, I got lupus. All right, well, guess that's how God wanted it. And if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And then there's fight, flight, fawn, flop. So flop is, oh my Lord, oh God. And people pass out.
yes, they
Some
do.
folks just sit still. Others be like, I'm gonna go to sleep. Or they simply don't do anything for their health, anything in their lives, and they're just kind of,
Going.
yeah, and barely. And so what happens with the neurons is when you have those trauma responses, it's like this each and every time. When you think about it now, there's a negative hormone here called cortisol. Cortisol is in charge of and stores those trauma responses. So if in fact this is happening, it causes belly fat,
Mhm.
hypertension, diabetes, flares for sure, all the above. So when it comes to the neurons, we're all connected, and people seem to think that our head is not connected to our body and our thoughts aren't either, when in fact our body and our brains, they interact. And what came first, the chicken or the egg? Nobody knows.
Man, that I I think I went through all of those except for one. Because I got diagnosed at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I didn't go through them in order. It was like a flip flop because I had such a big support system when I was younger. So I knew what they told me. I didn't understand it. Didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything. The family knew or still didn't understand it, but we were going by the rules and regulations.
Mm.
And I didn't accept what I had until I was like 20.
Tell me, I have a question. Tell me how that acceptance was for you and some of the things you went through all the way up until you accepted, like, okay, this is my beautiful life.
I never been asked that question. Oh, okay. So I had went to Florida
Mm-hmm.
and I came back home after 5 days. Like I'm talking, I'm in the sun. Okay. And it was this big old blemish on my face. Like it was like somebody burnt my face. And my skin was so pretty and I loved my looks. And I was just like, what is this? So that started making me depressed. And I
Mm-hmm.
started going to the doctor because I wanted this gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started telling me. You can't be in the sun like that. If you are in the sun, you have to do X, Y, and Z. If you're in the sun for too long, you have to keep replying on sunscreen. You have to have on a sun hat. You have to have on some protective gear. I knew none of this ever existed. So at that moment, that's when I started learning what is lupus.
Mm-hmm.
What triggers it, what flares up. I have to learn how to listen to my body. I have to know when I'm tired, that I'm in the sun for too long, but I don't want to be so tired. So what's the symptoms that I look for before then? So that is the time when I really start studying my body, studying what lupus is, researching who had it, especially in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it dawned on me. So when it dawned on me, it was like I'm in school again. And then I started getting excited because I started listening, doing stuff, and all the things that I was going through, like the joint pains, the swelling, the moon face, they call it, all that went away.
Wow.
And I wanted to stay like that. So I never stopped learning about it. And then one day, I'm a glam girl. So I wanted to be teak and the makeup,
Mm-hmm.
industry. And one day I woke up, it was like Lupus Has No Face. And I'm like, what?
That's so dope. When you told me about it, I'm like, well, that's a great name because it doesn't.
And when I tell you, that was the first moment I understood with people say they're calling. When people used to say that, I'm like, whatever, they lying. I just never experienced it.
And now look at you.
And now I experienced it. It never went away. It never did nothing. It was meant for me. I got everything done in a week. And then I did an event. One of my girlfriends found an event for me, and I went. It was just like that. I didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know nothing. It was just like I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I love it. I absolutely love it because I get text messages, emails from people that I help. They're happy about it. They've been going to their doctors and saying that they were sick and stuff that is still wrong. And I'll give them what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it will work for them. But everything that works for me does not work for everybody. But I will help them. So that just makes me go even harder.
I absolutely love that because even though the title was Lupus Has No Face, you are a beautiful face of someone that,
Thank
hey,
you.
you're welcome. I'm thriving and I'm learning. Sometimes I'll get it right. Other times, well, lesson learned. Even what you spoke about, like, the butterfly that it happens and some people don't know what it is. So they do all these facial things and it may make it more challenging for them,
Yes.
even just physical appearance. I remember seeing an interview with Trick Daddy, and he was like, "Man, I just stayed out the whole limelight for a long time because I didn't know what was going on with me." And then finally, he was diagnosed, and he talks about it openly now. But I often, when I meet with people who may have chronic illnesses, and also especially with lupus, they talk about how their self-esteem has been affected, their self-confidence, how they just want to make sure that they find makeup that matches, or they just, I wish I didn't have any of this. I have two people that are very close to me that have lupus in my family, and other things pop up for them too. Hair, where it grows back, and then other times it falls out. So just wondering how you manage that.
Yeah, I would so and that's how I got into makeup because I was not a makeup girly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love my skin out. So my skin is still good. I still go
It's
out, people
beautiful.
see, thank you, my regular face. So I don't hide anything. They understand like I am a normal person, but I'm living well with it. I went through a stage where all my hair was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally curly hair. That's what the story is on my website. I was washing my hair and it was just clunks that was just coming
Mm.
out. I cried. I was hysterical because I'm like, hair took my identity away from me. That's a part of my identity. You know what I mean? And that's how I got into wigs.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was ashamed, I went through some bad wigs. I went through a long process trying to find out what really works for me. And then even with that, so I had doctors that really cared about me because I was an advocate. I start speaking up for myself, because doctors is only as good as you are. You got to help them help you.
We'll speak on that
You
in a
know what I
minute.
mean? Because it's
Mhm.
a chart that they go by. And it's a medication, and how much you weigh is how many doses they're going to give you. So you got to help them. You got to journal. You got to let them know. And it's different medications, different tiers that they can give you depending on what type of doctor you are. You might can't give a 4-tier medication. You got to go
Mhm.
to a different one. And that's when specialists come into place because primary care providers is only a band-aid. They can't do a lot of things. So you need a specialist for any and everything that you're going through. So then I had got a dermatologist. And the biopsy showed that my hair would not grow back. But she believed in me anyways, and she gave me a solution, and my hair grew back. So she did a story on me because it took like 3 weeks.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And my
Yeah.
hair haven't fell out since then.
That's
I
amazing.
take care of my hair under these
And thank
wigs.
God for you and for her. Yes, indeed.
So I was so proud of that. And then that was another thing that I went through because that took my self esteem away. Like, okay, if I take off my wigs, then what he gonna say? But I had a supportive mate.
Mm-hmm.
I had a supportive mate. He didn't care. He helped me. He didn't make me feel away, but I fell away. It was
Yeah.
all within myself. But now, nope, not at all.
Good.
So
Good.
I am the most confident ever. Like it doesn't matter if something was to happen. Thank God, hope that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with it
I
because
love
I'm doing
that.
everything that's necessary for me to prevent it.
I just love to hear all of that because people need to hear your story 100 times a week because it's discovered and it's like, what do I do? All I know is who's talked about it, or in our culture, not a lot of people even talk about it. So thank you for that. I didn't took over all the questions. I'm sorry.
No, you
Continue.
okay? This is dope. I love that you're doing it, and yeah, and it's not just any wigs. My wigs is air breathable with
Yeah.
masses under there. So you got to get certain wigs that you can still treat your hair while
Hmm.
still looking good in the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not good for you just to buy anything. It's good for you to research. Like Clinique, I use that, or I'll use Mac on the sensitive side of my skin.
Mm.
But you just got to do your research and you got to do testers. And you definitely can live well and thrive with lupus while you're going
Absolutely.
through all of the things. And sometimes when your skin mess up, you should not have anything on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people think that they are being looked at, but they're really not. That's because we see that on our face.
Hmm.
So it amplifies things.
It's the truth. And most people have their own things going on.
Yeah.
And so, as humans, we can be a bit self centered because we're just born that way. But in reality, I'm walking past people not noticing anything. Dr. Nice, did you notice that? Like, no, girl, what are you talking about? You just saying that because you want to be mean. I said, oh my goodness. But I do understand how that can be.
Yeah.
So,
And if you love yourself, and I also found out, just going through being ill, when you have confidence, no matter how you look and you wear that, that exudes and people
mhm,
gravitate towards that and they still want to respect you and still think that you're beautiful because beauty is from within out. But when we go through that, it's like, nah, it needs to be out then in,
yes,
right?
uh-huh.
So yeah, you have to have your own confidence and know that you are who you exactly think that you are, even with all the things that is going on.
I would have to agree with that. And just like you said, because we've been taught throughout the years, fake it till you make it, dress up until you feel better. When in fact, no, I need to feel better. So I'm gonna be in these little lounge clothes for a minute. I ain't gonna go to Walmart with them on, and neither should you. However, I'm gonna be somewhere in some lounge
Or the
clothes.
head things, like
Girl,
no,
let's
don't. We're not gonna
we
do that.
try, okay, because I want us kicked off the whole network of.
We're gonna move on to the body, the mind, body, and connections, right? So,
Mhm.
can you explain the connection between the chronic inflammation and medical health disorders such as anxiety and depression? You touched a little bit on that.
Absolutely. So once again, trauma triggers happen. And people think, well, how can they happen in your head? And it's this phenomenon where if something happens around you, outside of you, or even within your body, it will cause certain flare ups and certain things that happen. So with anxiety, imagine if I'm anxious and one out of three of us is anxious as diagnosed with lupus or any other chronic illness, then I'm going to be up. Insomnia is going to play a huge part of it. Difficulty staying asleep or even waking up. That weight gain or weight loss, swelling, that, ooh, the joints, aches, and pains and things. I bet you if all of us did our neck like this right now, it would crack. But imagine if you had chronic joint pain. So when it comes to depression, anxiety, even talking about depression, like people don't realize is you get real tearful. You sitting in the car, nothing's wrong, and all of a sudden this gulp and the tears fly out to the windshield. And you're like, where did that come from? Or you feel, well, no one likes me. Well, I feel like I shouldn't be in this space because I'm not good enough, or even just that fatigue and lack of energy.
Mm.
So all of that is happening in your body as well as in your mind. And now guess what happens? The flare-ups. Um,
Instantly.
Instantly. And that is something that people have to recognize. Oh, the headaches, migraines, the loss of appetite, the gastrointestinal issues,
I went through
diarrhea,
all that.
constipation, GERD, acid reflux, all of those things. Once again, you mentioned the hair coming out. But even like the twitch in your eye,
Yes.
here, you don't really know what to do with that, but it's all coming about mainly due to your emotional state with depression, anxiety. Um, there are a few others, but they're all related to anxiety and depression. So now the neurons in your head trying to protect itself. Like, what is going on? So now I am fighting harder, but as you know, with lupus is fighting against your body. So now
Yes.
you got a whole war going on because you felt some kind of way.
Yes. And I try to take the emotions out of what I'm dealing with people, because if I don't, it stresses me out instantly. And it'll start right in the back of my neck, in the middle of my back.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I gotta get this off me. So I know my triggers instantly. So I'll deal with them instantly. But I normally deal with things to try to take the emotions out of it while still being sympathetic. A lot of people that I know that has SLE are getting out of the nursing field, which is
Mm.
so crazy to me. Because I told Tone the other day, I'm like, I never thought about being in media this way. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
hosting and speaking and doing live interviews, but it's like liberating to me. And especially when we was at the Black Expo, it was just so liberating. It was just like a light bulb went on. And I met three people that was diagnosed with SLE, and they did not have it under control. And they all told me that they left their nursing careers to do other things
Mm.
because of the stress.
It nursing field is such a high. Woo. They even have, if you look on social media, and some people, of course, I'm a nurse. I don't comb my hair at all until it's time for me to go to church in the morning. Of course, I'm a nurse. I have all these shifts, and I have 4 different bags and 3 different cups and I have a friend who's a nurse, and I'm just like, wow. And I really think they should take a look at that because also within chronic illnesses, a lot of people work in the healthcare field and they're carrying that with them, taking care of others who have similar issues going on.
Yes, and it can be very stressful, but I literally mastered it. But it only helps because I have a team that pours back into me. So I pour all into them, and then they pour all into me. And so I get my cup filled back up the same day. Those
I
also
love
helps with the
that.
people, yeah, the people that surround you.
Yeah.
Oh my
We both
goodness.
energy stealers. We'll take it.
Um, many lupus warriors describe emotional flares. From a physical perspective, what is actually happening during those moments?
So during the physical flares, as far as your body's like, okay, something is going on, not sure what. And once again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Nobody really knows. But from certain hypotheses, when you are dealing with all of these things out here, flares come about. But if your body happens to flare and there's physical things going on now, it leads to the mental health challenges, which is, I don't know why my body's doing this. I'm doing all the right things. I'm making sure to take care of this. I'm going to this specialist, so on and so forth. But still, my legs, they're so tight, or my headache, or I'm getting the scars again. So now you're wondering, even though you're doing all the right things, but that anxiety and depression that you're experiencing is now making it flare up more. So it's all a salsa cha-cha dance that everyone's doing together, and you have to take care of both at the same time. People will say, "Oh, Dr. Knox, well, I just want to get my mental straight so I could deal with this, this illness." And I was like, "How about we do both?" Let's talk about both at the same time,
Right.
because if anyone's worth their weight in salt and gold that's in the medical field, they'll tell you it needs to be done at the same time. Some people, they are prescribed medications for depression, anxiety. However, once again, doctors only know as much as they know. So if you don't tell them, I am surviving with lupus, these are some of the issues and symptoms, you may get a medication that doesn't quite match. And now I'm not ever trying that again.
Yes, you hear that so often.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't feeling like myself because I don't know what that depression pill did. When in fact, did you tell the doctor everything? Well, no, they should know.
No, they know.
No, absolutely not.
And it's so funny that you said it because too, like I have lupus, fibromyalgia, and RA. So when something happens to me, you can most people be like, it's just lupus. No, it's not
It's
your
a
lupus.
combination.
It's probably something else, or it's probably something else. And I just got a brain fog. What was I about to say?
It's okay. I think you should take a
I think I should take a little break.
look.
I love you.
Hmm.
Yeah, you gotta know which it is. And what I was, oh, okay, there you go. What I was gonna say is you can be doing everything right, but you can be killing yourself because
Mm.
people do not understand that knowing your blood type helps you understand what you should and should not eat. People push
Mm.
fruits and vegetables all the time, and depending on what your blood type is, that's going to kill you. Inflammation, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people don't understand like your blood type helps you choose what foods you should be eating.
And you are right on point. Like with the fruit, there's a lot of sugar. So that could keep with the vegetables, the fiber, things like that, it's maybe not. So having that talk with your doctor, but just don't go in naked with no knowledge. The best patient is the one that is knowledgeable of their body, of the symptoms they're experiencing, and that has done the research. We
Yes.
love when patients come and we're like, oh my goodness, thank you. Because now I can have all the things and give it. But because I don't want to be a guinea pig. I'm not going to the doctor. Well, if you don't give a person much to go by, then all they have to do is trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And a lot of the symptoms, like you mentioned, they overlap. So it's called comorbidity, which means depression and anxiety. They share some of the symptoms. So when people try to tease them out, they have to go through the DSM-5, which will help you to do that, just like the doctor has a list of things that they need to know about you for the medication.
Hmm.
Same with physical lupus, fibromyalgia, and even just chronic migraines. All of them are connected here, here, and here.
Yes.
So if the person or the doctor at hand is good at comorbidity, meaning, okay, these symptoms are these and these three different disorders. So let me make sure I got this so this one thing can help all three. And it doesn't matter which one it came from because they all are like this and it's hard to tease out.
Oh my God, yes. And people think that doctors is just this magic person.
They do.
It does not work like that. It's just that they are an expert in what it is that they do so they can understand you and try to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, we're not journaling and like waking up in the morning, okay, this is how I feel. I ate this. This is how I feel. They can't help us. It's going to be a continued
Exactly.
trial and error, and medication is going to make you feel some type of way. But sometimes you feel worse before you feel better.
Now that is the truth. I thrive with chronic migraines since I was two.
Oh,
And people generally are like, oh, it's a migraine, it's a headache. I said, oh no. Imagine every day for a month you just have a horrible headache where you can't see well or stars, that pain where you can hardly open your mouth to eat, loud noises. I love the sunshine. I'm a sun baby too.
mm.
And so if I stay out there, like I could say 4 or 5 hours, make it 5 hours and 5 minutes. Oh, I'm on
Five
my
hours and
back with a
5 minutes.
headache. Yes. And so even, and this is kind of strange too for me, people that have chronic migraines, they need to wear sunglasses, what have you. The sunglasses create migraines for me. So sunglasses, absolutely not. So when the sun is on my eyes, I'm like, oh, it feels so good. But yet I can only stay there for some hours or what have you. But people are like, wear sunglasses if you got a migraine. I said it takes it up to 25 from two.
And that's interesting.
Everybody's body is different. Somebody said, well, maybe it's because you have light eyes. Are you?
Got some beautiful eyes too.
Thank
That's the
you.
first thing I said. I said, she is, I said, them eyes. I said, oh, Lord. Smart beauty and brains.
Thank
Got you. And you
you.
funny too, girl. Yes,
So you
love.
have to know your own body.
You do got to know your own body.
Hmm.
How does trauma, whether the medical or personal, show up in the body?
Whew. So we named a whole bunch of them,
We did.
but I'm gonna go down the list and take a big old breath. Okay, we already said insomnia. We said
Yes.
gastrointestinal issues, vision issues. Some people think, oh, when I reach a certain age, oh, now I got to wear readers. When in fact, no, you are stressed and it's showing up in your vision. Pain behind the eyes. We talked about the twitches and flicks. Also, when it comes to our body, the balls of our feet, like just hurting, whether we're wearing high
Mm.
heels or tennis shoes, that knee pain, even people have said, I hurt so bad that my teeth hurt, my bone hurts, and they are not lying about that
No.
because that's how it shows up in the body. But also with the mental health issues in combination with the body, there's also different things outside, such as, you're short tempered, irritable, snapping off on folks, not having good relationships, whether it's romantic, friend, church, forgetfulness, even though Lord help me. So I'm hoping everything's all right. But forgetfulness, the brain fog,
Yes, that's me.
lack of concentration. How many times have you read the same sentence over and over and over again on an email or in a book?
And don't understand nothing.
Exactly. So that vision thing is real. Also, dental health. So stress will show up in your body and you start to grind and clench your teeth. So at this particular time, I'm thinking, man, these migraines are getting worse when I had a TMJ flare up. And it is when there's swelling here, here,
Mm.
and here. And then it's hard to open your mouth.
Yes.
And when you yawn, you might as well just pass out. A lot of that is stress oriented. So it shows up in so many different ways. Um, no mood or just not even wanting to have sex, be touched, even any nurtures or just a hug or intimacy. Like it's not working out well for my psyche or my body, almost making my
Mm.
skin crawl.
Ooh.
So people don't want to talk about that aspect of having a chronic illness and then all the things that come with it, how it shows up in your body, which are matched with emotions,
Yes.
painful sex.
Yes.
When in fact, 5 days ago, it was just fine, or not able to acquire an erection when just 3 hours ago, it was fine. So all of those things play a part.
And people need to, I'm going to say need, people need to open up their minds, because if you don't know, you don't know, and you're going to continue to suffer in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going through, somebody else is going through the exact same thing. And it's nothing to
Yes.
be embarrassed about. What's
It,
embarrassing is you not acknowledging what you got going on, and you causing yourself to continue to stay in a state.
absolutely.
Mm. We're going to move on to culture, compensation, and the Black community. This is one of your favorite. The Black community, there is often stigma around therapy. From your professional expertise, what contribute to this?
So one of the biggest things that contribute to stigma is I don't want to seem less than. I do not want to seem weak, and I want to be capable because we've been taught since the beginning of time that we have to work twice as hard as everyone else. So if in fact I say to others and myself, I'm having a mental health challenge right now, or I'm going through something, that stigma says, nope, we're fine. I ain't crazy. Nothing wrong with me. So sometimes the lack of knowledge of what a mental health challenge is, it does not mean you're crazy. I believe everyone should have a therapist or someone they can talk to on a normal basis because you can tell them about the good struggles and the bad. Um,
Yes.
Part of our culture also is because a lot of us are in impoverished situations, and not just by money, but by the education of it all. So if we're not aware of even some of the symptoms that, oh, my mom went through that, I do the same thing. Oh, yeah, me and my uncle, we're twins. We go through the same thing. Well, that's how they've handled their
Here.
mental health issue. So
Mhm.
if they are experiencing ruminating thoughts like over and over and over and over again, they are not able to concentrate well. There was this myth that, oh, ADHD, get your child on such and such for ADHD, when in fact some of the children and adults were experiencing that. But once again, with the stigma, I don't want to be less than. Also in people's jobs, if people know that this is going on with me, they're going to think that I can't do this, so I won't be in line for the promotions. I may get fired, or I may be put on disciplinary action. Also missing work and missing school, those kind of things. I remember growing up, people would just say, oh, they're lazy,
Yeah.
or, they just bad. They bad. When in fact, it was a mental health challenge. But for an adult to say, oh, my kid is having a mental health challenge, first person they blame is themselves. And who wants to blame themselves for something when in fact, No,
It's not gonna have
it's a
nothing to do with you.
chemical imbalance that's
Hmm.
happening. So with culture, we have to know also that we are different. Everybody is not the same. When I'm in my therapy sessions, I give therapy from an African psychological lens of things, which is we do believe in rites of passage, and it makes us feel proud. Like when I've done this, this is what happens in my culture. The kinds of food we eat has a lot to do with mental health issues, whether it's good, whether it's bad. It is because the one thing that we will always do is what? Celebrate with some food.
That
Somebody is
is
in
true.
graduation. Oh my God, we having a party. Somebody just got out of jail, backyard barbecue. Somebody not feeling well. Let me cook you some dinner.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, when it comes from our culture, I also think, as well as stigma, we have to have a self pride in our culture. Our culture guides us and it tells us we are somebody. And this is why. When we're in Western civilization like this, that's not the prominent. So we
Mm.
need to be able to know about that. We should not forget assimilation is one thing, but it will make you sick.
It's so beautiful that you say that because a lot of like I'm very spiritual, I'm not religious, right? But if you read the Bible, we are the chosen ones. And people look at other cultures like they are the ones when in reality we are the ones. They take what we do and amplify that. We are the only culture that I know that do not stick together.
Mm.
They may argue with each other, but they don't go against each other. We like to learn stuff. I'm gonna just say we because I'm part of the culture.
Mhm.
We like to learn stuff and then forget about our culture and go over here, or not bring anybody else up. You know what I'm saying? Or try to detach from the culture. And that's not what they do. That's why they so huge and they're so big and they're so successful.
Mhm.
Because when one make it, all make it. They feed their community. We like to gatekeep and pay for information that we learn. Why? I mean, I get it. I do
Mhm.
on certain levels. But if you can try to help someone or put certain things out there because time is exhausting, right? It takes away
Mhm.
from your everyday. But to like just totally be like, "Oh, I'm not sharing my resources." What is it going to do to you if you share your resources? You put that person in the room and let them do what they need to do.
Yeah.
What is it taking away from you?
Nothing. And even if
It's,
you and I were doing exactly the same thing, it would be different because you are boss you and I am boss me, and it's gonna look different. Even if we have the same setting here, it'll look different.
yes, because we are two different people.
Absolutely. And I know that people tend to question this or criticize it, but you have to know your history in order to know where that spirit comes from. So if we think way back and people be like, whatever, Dr. Knox, I'm like, no, you gonna hear this. So way back, slavery days, the one thing that kept people in their places was the gatekeeping. So you had some that were in the house, you had some that were in the fields, you had some that were killed instantly, even when they were born. You had people just kind of taken away from their families. And
Mm.
so if they had one thing of value, which was maybe their skin complexion, or maybe, their work ethic, or their strength, or maybe this one little thing that they got from Africa that it's theirs. Gatekeeping came from way back then because it's the only thing they had to barter with, or the only thing that they knew. You can't keep this away from me, so I'm going to use it to succeed. But of course, the one thing that slavery taught us was we can be separated at any time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not prepared for that. So instead of saying, let's stick together even closer, a lot of times we're like, okay, we're going to do this over here. We're going to do this over there. We're going to do this over here because I need to make sure that I'm okay, my family's okay. And this has been since the beginning of time. And so there are a lot of us that we're like, no, we're breaking this cycle. I'm not a gatekeeper. If somebody needs anything from me, I got you as well as I can. And if not, I'll try to help you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a skill or set that I have, it's yours because it's also a part of trade. If we're doing
Yes.
this, it's called reciprocity. If I do this for you, and not that I want anything back, but the natural occurrence is when I need something, even if I don't, you'll be there for me. And that was very hard during slavery, but of course, generational cycle.
Oh my God. And you are totally right about that. A lot of our culture is mad at the other culture. But like you said, back in slavery, we were the ones selling each other first, and the other culture caught on to that and became what? Right?
And
They ran it, how they ran it. But we start, you know what I'm saying? We started it. So it's just kind of like it's still to this day that people do not understand. It's so important to stick together because we are beautiful. I cannot stand hearing the things that you have said, like, oh, well, she stole my idea. She is not you.
mhm.
She's not going to exhibit what you exhibit. She's not going to have the same customer skills that you have. It's not going to happen. If it's for you, it's for you.
And that is true. And even with the majority culture, it's just, even though that was a way of life back then, it is on steroids now because it is even to this day. And people would say, well, no, it's because of us and so on and so forth. I'm not giving blame, but what I am saying, here are the reasons behind it. And still to this day, majority culture is in charge of things. And so all we have is what we have. So I got to hold on to it, or I'm afraid to share it because then now you have it. And how am I going to survive? But then the overall picture is we're not surviving well anyway. We should
At
be
all.
thriving because there's a whole culture that this whole place is run by. And in our blood and in our genetics, we're not used to this. This is not us. And so we don't really know what to do most of the time and we end up surviving.
We need a lesson for you guys on here. Come on with it. Come on. Okay. How important is it culturally to care when treating patients of color with chronic illnesses?
Woo, it is of utmost importance. Every single medical professional, psychological professional, so on and so forth, they need to be culturally competent, but that is something that will only come after cultural humility. Cultural
Mm.
humility is you being aware of a different culture, you kind of knowing some of the nuance because you did the research yourself. You even ask questions of people, but you can work with them, play with them, do what you need to do in an effective manner while checking your biases. We all have biases and they come right along with us. They are right on this necklace today. But
Beautiful, by
part
the
of
way.
it, thank you. But part of it is let me calm this necklace down. Okay. Let me listen to what they're saying. Let me check my bias. And there we are. So with cultural humility, you are actually engaging in a way that is, I won't say fair, that is beneficial to the person in which you're treating. Now, if you are not that, it becomes a problem because now you may misdiagnose. You don't know about, let's say, African American culture. Even when I worked in social services, people were like, oh my God, that person, your mom, they pinched you a little. Oh, we got to take the kids away. When in fact, you have to know the culture of what's going on. And that goes in the medical field as well. You have to know the foods that we eat. You have to know what our thoughts are about health, mental health, and physical health. You have to know about the home remedies that we try. You have to know about these things, but the best way is yes, reading, learning, but asking questions and being able to have those brave conversations with your patient.
Mm. Absolutely. So since you were in healthcare, not in healthcare, in
Social
social
services.
services, what guidelines or what culture you think they follow to, snatch the kids away and think that the things that we do
Oh,
are abusive? So what culture do you think that they follow?
the majority culture, the culture of punitive instead of being proactive, they are reactive because it's not the same in their culture, then it is wrong because of the way that we may rear our children. For instance, I was so honored to be one of the mental wellness professionals that created a forum where for the adoption kids that were adopted in foster care, where we would get them together and we would give them the voice. So they had their
Mm.
chair there. We invited their primary care physicians, their psychiatrists, the teachers, the
Mm.
bio parents, the foster parents, and we were like, okay, what is it that you want? Rarely is that asked of a child or a senior when they need care, rarely is it, what do you want? It's what we think is best. And what we think is best tends to go by what the majority culture rules, which is another reason why it's hard for us sometimes to stick together because we've been born into it.
Mm.
So inside, genetically and soul and spirit, all day African. Once we get out and we're here, we have this world and it's hard to negotiate the two. So when it comes to people in social services, you really, really should take more courses, professional development, talk to somebody who is a specialist in this and learn culture. You don't have to know everything about it, but you need to know how to address it. You need to know how to be aware and you need to know how to rationalize and negotiate.
Yes. Oh my God, you are feeding me. You are. I'm learning as you talking. You are definitely feeding me.
Thank
This
you.
conversation is too dang on good. We gonna move on to identity, grief, and psychologically adjustments. These
Mhm.
Invisaligns, boy, I tell you.
Girl, I
Uh,
had them too. Jesus.
as someone living with lupus, I know identity shifts are real. Clinically, how do you help your patients process the grief of losing their own self?
So that's a challenging question because the person first has to be a little bit open to seeing their strengths. Like, yes, you are thriving with lupus right now, and these are some of the things that are happening. However, talking to them in a way where they can figure out and we can talk together to find the strengths that make them unique, that make them you. And so, with that being said, it takes a lot of courageous conversations. It takes asking them questions.
Yes.
It also takes the person who is living with lupus or chronic disease to be open enough because, once again, there's that stigma, same as mental health, there's that shame and embarrassment. So, just like you talked about your life, like it, the grief, all of the things happen, and grief doesn't have an order. There's 7 stages, and it's all over the place. But
Yes.
you go through those things. However, you take what you learn from them. And so, even for them to surround themselves with people like you that may have this going on. So, what I would suggest, because I'm more of a community healer. So, yes, we can talk about it and I can help you, but these are the 3 resources. Hey, I'm going to call so and so right now to see if you can meet with them, which would be you, to see if you could talk with them and meet with them, even if it's a 5-minute phone call, but using the natural resources that they have because even though they may feel judged by their family, people may not understand. There are 2 or 3 people who get it.
Yes.
And that's who they should be talking with. And then that person becomes a part of their community to help them grow those strengths and that specialness. And so now we need to recognize your specialness that before lupus, you didn't even know you had.
No.
And so the grief process is real, grieving how you used to move, how your hair and face look, grieving that energy you used to have like a teenager, all of those things. But settling into with still encouragement, enthusiasm, that wisdom that I know what I need to do for my body. I know how to help others as well. So on and so forth. So I think that's important.
That is very important. And everything that I went through, I educated myself on that.
Mhm.
And before, I started grieving anything, I always thought that grieving was somebody that died.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
All of us probably thought that.
Hmm.
I didn't know that you can grieve your own self or grieve somebody that's still living on earth
Oh
or
yeah.
grief go beyond
It
death
goes
and
so
people
far.
do not talk enough about it.
They don't understand that grief is an emotion
Yes.
and an action at times. And so when someone has lost a job, whether they liked it or not, they're grieving that loss, they're grieving the money, they're grieving their everyday schedule, losing a pet. People, oh, that's just a dog, that's just a cat. I'll be on the floor.
Yes.
Losing, listen, even like when I one day I did the big chop and I was like, oh my God, why did I do that on my hair? So I grieved and grieved. Losing that grief of man, I was once this size and now I'm that size.
Mhm.
Um, grieving just okay, something's going on with my vision, even though it's normal, whatever. Now I gotta wear readers. Now my font on my phone is 76. What in the world? Even grief to the smallest things that people don't think about, whether it's losing teeth, whether it's losing a limb, or just simply that friend that was once this and now is that, and
Yes.
relationships, romantic or changing churches. You know what? Church hurt is real. I'm grieving that. I'm grieving the relationship I have with different people. So it definitely goes a long way.
That's why I always remain a student, because you have to always remain a student to get what it is that you need to get fed to continue to go on to the next step. Because if you think that you bigger in a program, it stops right
Mm,
there. You're never
you're
going to be
right.
successful in anything that you do.
You're right about that.
Mm. Is there a recognized psychologically stage process similar to grief when adjusting to chronic illnesses?
Yes, it's pretty much the same. And I won't name these. I'll try to name these in the order. But you have first, shock.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is going on. What is happening? No, nobody in my family has this. Or wait a minute, maybe I'm just tripping. I'll just put some salve on it, whatever it is. And then you have the bartering. Okay, if this is not it, I will go to church every Sunday. I'll make sure my daughter hair is combed. I'll be cool with her dad. I'll make sure my mom got what she need every day. So then you have the bartering. You also have the anger. Like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff and I have this diagnosis. This is some bull. Like, I don't even know why this happened to me. Like, all these other people in the world just doing all the things,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
now
Yes.
this is me. I be good to people. I'm making sure that I'm giving my tithes. I'm good in my relationships. I pick up trash and don't litter. I don't jaywalk. What? Why is this to me? So then you have that anger part. Then you
Yes.
have the kind of the sedimentary where you're just like, okay, not acceptance yet, but just, okay, I guess this is it. So now you're kind of still, it's a combination of the shock, but not really shocked, just numb. Like, I'm numb. I don't even know what to do, how to feel. I've been given this diagnosis. So now I may not go to the doctor. Now I may not take the medication, which is also the similar to, flop
Yes.
or, flight. I may not do any of those things. And then finally, acceptance, where you are right now. And I know that dance, once again, it's in no order, because some days you might wake up and be like, this is some bull. Um, Other times you're like, I don't want to today. And so when you have those stages, they're very, very similar, pretty much the same as a psychological grief or what have you, but it just comes about differently.
You know, I was one of those people when I got diagnosed and it settled in, because I was so popular when I was younger. I played soccer, had cheerleader, and now it's nothing. And I hated him for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, why would you do this to me? I didn't even have a chance to live yet.
Mm.
But now my story is changed. I'm glad that you gave this to me, because I'm living and I'm thriving and I'm not missing out on anything. You're using me for what it is that you need to use me for, and I'm loving what I do.
Is bigger and better than you could ever imagine. I always say, as much as I be trying to think of things to do and how to do it and how to get all the things get back, no, he has a plan that's so much huger than me, and it feels so good.
Yes. And when I be trying to complain, I'm like, nope, he got me up. I'm not stressed. I'm not swollen. Savannah, stop it. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, you get to do what you're passionate about.
Exactly. So I do not like when I know of a healthy body that's complaining about things.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes my antennas goes up, because it's like, do you know that just getting up for me is stressful? Like, every day, just my regular life is stress, and you are well and healthy, and you complaining about what again? You want to trade bodies?
And
Like,
and that would be considered also a trauma response, because they have no idea, like, oh, I don't feel like getting up today. They, and many times people don't even realize they have this healthy body. They can do all these things because they're in their own body. But when you see that, part of it is grieving what you had. And now you're looking at somebody who has it and they're complaining. So now I'm irritated with you. I
yes.
am angry. You know what? I'm okay. I'm not doing this with you today. And so flight. Or you know what? You got a body like this and da 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 da, and they're looking like, whoa, not realizing where it's all coming from.
Yes.
And so giving grace on both sides is very important. giving yourself grace to feel the way you do, giving them grace because they don't know and their complaints and their problems are what it is. And it's probably just maybe severe, who knows? And then also just giving grace for the conversation because it's okay for you to be like, okay, bye.
That part. That part. So we're going to move it on to closing. If you could leave our listeners with one clinical sound but compassionate truth about mental wellness and chronic illness, what would it be?
I would say, and I say this often, lupus, and this is just the first part, even though it's called Lupus Has No Face, it does. It has a living, breathing, walking, talking, I'm in pain, I'm not, I'm gracious. It has a face. And so, with that face, you should look at each person you encounter with empathy as well as pride and strength.
Mm,
Because once our eyes connect, we're hereby responsible for each other. And that's an
yes.
African proverb. So try to see that strength and good and then feed it back to them because our mental wellness is not a luxury, it's our responsibility. And it is our responsibility as a whole. We don't come from a culture of pick your own self up by your bootstraps. I don't have bootstraps, never have.
Right.
But I do come from a culture where we help each other arm in arm. And even though it's more pronounced that we may not, we can help each other. So mental wellness is a community thing. It's not just by yourself.
Absolutely. And we are stronger together.
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out to the Milwaukee Black Expo that happened this past Saturday, right, Tom, or Friday? When I tell you there was some amazing boss women in there. And I don't mean just because they titles. To me, a boss mean, integrity, accountability, things of that nature, and
Mm.
a beautiful soul. A lot of people that are in those positions are nasty.
Mm.
Right. And so I met some beautiful people there. Felicia Rodriguez, Kanishiwa, um, Kanini. Who else did I interview? Yeah, Miss Rita Lee, of course, thank you so much for having me, put me in that space to be able to even meet those beautiful women.
Mhm.
But they were just beautiful, full of knowledge, and I love seeing things like that. That makes our world go. And I
Mhm.
would love if we can continue to build that up because she had over like what 300 people in a room.
Mhm.
Okay.
And to get that many people, your spirit has to be wonderful, and people have to want to be and go in your spaces.
And they were all nice and all kind. Shout out to Dr. Gladney. She was such a beautiful
Hey,
host
Dr. Gladney.
as well. And she gave me my flowers. And even though things was going how it was going, everybody was calm. And
Mhm.
I love that for our culture. Um, so again, if you can tell them where they can find you at, let them know where they can find you at, and then I'll just close this out.
Sure. All social medias, Dr. Liaknox, Dr. Lia Knox. And it has been my pleasure. Hit me up, inbox me, messenger, all the above. Please do. It's been my pleasure.
She is so down to earth. You
Thank
coming
you.
home with me. We gonna steal her. So yes, please do hit her up, show her some support, go on her page, whatever you guys can do to continue to uplift this beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Understand that we are having a bid me baby this Friday at Tropic. Okay, you do not have to bid on the bachelors or the bachelorettes if you don't want to, but it's for a great cause. Lupus Has No Face. The proceeds will go to Lupus Has No Face. So it would be nice if you guys can bid on them to make it all fun or do a nice generous donation. And for those that knows me know that we do events all throughout the year, so you can go on the website and see where your money is going to. Thank you so very much for tuning in every Wednesday to Lupus Has No Face podcast. Last but not least, continue to drop off those diaper essentials. We moved the date to continue to collect, and we'll be having the date, which will be March 27th. March 27th will be a pickup time. March 28th will be the pickup time that a lot of people in the community come to pick up diapers, baby wipes, pull-ups, even grown up depends. for free. So make sure you guys continue to donate so we can give back to the community. Until next time.
If I could say one more thing.
Oh, wait. Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Shout out to the people who are watching. I see your comments. Invite others to watch. This is a wonderful, wonderful program and it's much needed. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.